And then finally, the main event was Bianca against the refrigerator because they had Bianca beat the fridge, so the baby faces will have advantage in the women's war games. But they've only got 4 people anyway, so maybe that will figure in. And they have announced they're going to have a women's Intercontinental champion too. I can't wait to see that. What's your thoughts on that, Brian?
On them adding another belt right after they announced that they were going to add the U.S. Women's Championship on the other show? I think
exactly.
I think they're starting to get a little bit of the AEW problem where they're too belt happy over there, and there's too many belts. The Rock also has his bullshit belt. But I'm saying is part of gimmick. It's his. He'll be out there with that. It's like his FTW belt. And now you can have all these belts.
Well, the thing is, even if you want to get a belt over on another belt for the women on both programs, doing it at the same time, doesn't that create some confusion in the marketplace?
Yeah, I don't,
do it 6 months apart.
I also don't see the demand. I mean, that's the other thing. I think when it comes to women's wrestling, WWE... You haven't
seen the line of women's wrestlers hanging outside of the fucking Triple H's office if you want to see demand for another women's belt.
No, but I just mean in terms of fan demand, in terms of whatever I say about the women's wrestling scene, the caveat is always that WWE's top flight women are the very best, and they belong. And everyone chasing the world champion is one thing. When all of a sudden you have a secondary belt, I don't think it shouldn't just be the men have all these belts so the women need them too. And sometimes it feels like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like it's for PR purposes as much as any other good reason.
Well, and they call it the workhorse title also, the Intercontinental. So I think he made some allusion to that when the announcement, whether the working person's title or what. How nonsensical is that? Because somebody, when the generation that were fans of the 80s and 90s actually got involved in the goddamn office in the 2000 and whatevers, and they realized that a lot of times the Intercontinental champion was a better worker than the WWE champion, especially in the 80s, they started calling it the workhorse title. Doesn't that tell people that your world champion is in some way a fucking lazy fuck or not as good as the secondary champion? Just to appeal to fans who know the smart terminology. What?
See, that's a new added benefit of being the world champion. It was always, if you're the champion, you get the biggest purse. If you're the champion, you can maybe get a piece of the house. Certainly get a piece of ass. You're the champion. You can do whatever you want. Now, you don't even have to come to work. All right, they're the workhorse. I'll be the sleeping late champion. I'll be the nap time champion for a few weeks. And then I'll go do a promo and I'll take another few weeks off.
I don't know. The Intercontinental champion or the North American champion or the United States champion, they've got all of them now. But theoretically, that was the person who was next in line, was pretty much the most important single wrestler in the industry, except for the world champion himself. And, that was prestige enough. They didn't have to compliment you for how many times you showed up to wrestle. But I digress, Brian. It's your program.